This week on Indie News, just when you thought 4K was plenty of resolution, Panasonic goes and announces the first 6K mirrorless camera. Next, a successful Kickstarter campaign for a quick flip lens filter system. And finally, YouTube says they're cracking down on hate speech and discriminatory videos. Should they remove content, and can they do it effectively? But first, this video is brought to you by Skillshare. You and I both know there is a lot to learn in filmmaking, but you can get an edge by checking out the many filmmaking and creative classes in the massive Skillshare library. Hey Indie Mogulers, Griffin here. I am filming today's episode on the Panasonic Lumix GH5. I also have with me a Lumix S1. You probably know I am a Panasonic ambassador, so they give me some of these cameras in advance before they come out. This camera's only been out for 3 months, and yet they've just announced a beefier version that shoots 6K video. The Lumix S1H will be a full-frame mirrorless camera capable of recording 6K video at 24 frames per second. That's in a 3:2 aspect ratio, so you'll either shoot open gate and crop the image, or maybe you'll use anamorphic lenses with this camera. It can also record 5.9K at 30 frames per second in 16:9, and there's a 10-bit 4K recording mode at 60 frames per second. Panasonic says this new sensor can capture a wide dynamic range of 14 plus stops. That means you can expose in one image a greater range of shadows and highlights. This level of dynamic range is similar to Panasonic's line of cinema cameras, the VariCam. The camera looks a little thicker than other Lumix S cameras with a vent on the side. By keeping the processor cool, they're able to offer unlimited recording time. And as you'd expect, you can shoot in flat V-Log with V-gamut color like many other Panasonic cameras. This is now the third camera in the full-frame Lumix S line. Panasonic markets the S1R as the ideal photography camera, the S1 as a hybrid photo-video camera, and this new S1H for cinematography. The S1H will be released this fall, and it's expected to cost around $4,000. So that's much more expensive than their other Lumix cameras, but it's also much cheaper than their cinema cameras like the Panasonic EVA1. So if 6K is what you need, this could be a really great deal. Next up, this Kickstarter campaign just raised over $100,000 to reimagine how you put filters over your camera lens. It's the Alter RFS, or Rapid Filter System, and it's designed to keep the filter attached to your camera so you don't drop it as you go to take it on and off as you move in and out of sunlight. Especially in cold weather, I often find myself in gloves trying to unscrew and rescrew on a filter and worrying that I'm going to drop the thing. So the Alter RFS makes it easy to flip this thing on and off without fear of dropping the filter. This product has been in development since 2017, and they just now finished their Kickstarter, exceeding their $100,000 goal with 1,216 backers. The RFS has an adjustable friction hinge, which stops the filter from flipping up and down when you don't want it to. It also has a 270-degree rotation, so you can flip it to the side or whichever direction you want. And there's even a magnet built in, so it has a really satisfying click when you close the thing. Alter makes the rapid filter system for every filter size and step-up ring, and their RFS Plus model means that it can support more than one size of filter for a single lens size. So Alter actually sent me their product during their Kickstarter campaign, so I've been playing with it, and I do like the concept a lot. I like that I'm not going to drop a filter while going to remove it. The only challenge with this is you do have to unscrew a filter if you want to change the filter. This is pretty much perfect for flipping a filter on and off, but if you want to switch to another ND filter, for example, you'll still have to do the unscrewing process. I also kind of like this as just a way to keep your lens cap on and just flip it on and off. I'm not going to lose a lens cap anymore. So if this looks like a product you need for your camera, the Kickstarter campaign is over, but they are still taking pre-orders on their Indiegogo campaign for $67. Our final story today is about the very platform that you're watching this video on. YouTube announced this week that they're going to try to curb hate speech on the platform. This means deleting thousands of videos that glorify neo-Nazism and other hateful ideologies. YouTube says, quote, "This would include, for example, videos that promote or glorify Nazi ideology, which is inherently discriminatory. Finally, we will remove content denying that well-documented violent events, like the Holocaust or the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary, took place." So yeah, YouTube is historically a platform where anyone can say anything they want. But now YouTube is saying, you can't just spew out false information that actively hurts your audience. Not only are they going after explicitly hateful content, they're also targeting, quote, borderline content, which by their definition includes videos like those that advertise a phony miracle cure or claiming that the earth is flat. Of course, it is always controversial anytime YouTube talks about deleting videos or demonetizing or limiting the visibility of videos through their algorithm. On the one hand, you can argue that what makes YouTube so great is that you can publish anything you want. On the other hand, is some content just so egregious, so dangerous to this community of creators and viewers that it's irresponsible for YouTube to allow it to live on their platform? You'll remember that in 2017, YouTube made it harder to recommend or share white supremacist content throughout the platform. And this is just one more chapter in the saga of tech companies like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter deciding how much they should police hate speech on their own platforms. It's one thing for YouTube to put in writing in their community guidelines what kind of content they will and will not allow. It's another thing for YouTube to actually enforce this policy. And it's already getting messy. You saw this issue come up last week between conservative YouTube creator Steven Crowder and Vox journalist Carlos Maza. Carlos accused Steven Crowder for 2 years of harassing him simply for being gay. And this sounds like it would fall under YouTube's ban on discriminatory conduct. But YouTube originally said, no, everything Steven Crowder is doing is fine. And then they said, yeah, actually, we don't like what he's doing. We're going to demonetize some of his videos. And now there's uproar on both sides because of it. So it seems like anytime you put these rules in writing, there's immediately some confusion on what exactly do those rules mean and how do you apply them to a real world situation. So, Skillshare. Since relaunching our channel, many of us at Indie Mogul have been using Skillshare's library of 25,000 classes to up our game. Classes like Low Budget Filmmaking, Tips and Tricks for an Indie Look by Maddie Brown. You'll find inspiration and practical technical lessons to become a more creative filmmaker. With a premium membership, you have unlimited access to this massive library of classes. Their annual subscription is less than $10 a month, so it's much cheaper to upgrade your skills than your camera. If you're ready to join the other 7 million creators who are already upgrading their skills, click the Skillshare link in the video description below to get 2 months of Skillshare for free. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Indie News, and let us know in the comments what you thought about today's stories and if there are other stories in the filmmaking world that you want to share with our audience. Of course, like and subscribe to Indie Mogul for all sorts of filmmaking content, and we'll see you next time.